Now let's talk about properties in South Africa. If you're looking to buy a home, you're starting to maybe consider upgrading or downgrading to a smaller property, even buying a second property as an investment, you're going to have to dig much deeper into those very quickly emptying pockets. Also how the banks are going to view you in the light of price inflation having increased to 3.88% according to Lightstone Properties. Now there's varying levels of increases and decreases in different parts of the country, which is why I'm so glad to have Hayley Ivins-Downes from Lightstone Property to break it down all for us. Hayley, good to have you on ENCA. I appreciate the time. I'm going to start going province by province in a moment. You can break down which province is increasing, which province is decreasing. But before we get there, just talk to me about this index. What exactly is it trying to work out, this HPI?
Thank you very much, Gareth. Really excited to be here this morning. And jumping straight into house price index. I think what it's really there to show, the basics, is that it gives you a view in terms of how properties are increasing in terms of value. So what we do is we measure from a certain time period to a certain time period at Lightstone. We use what we call a repeat sales methodology, and that gives you a sense in terms of growth of property. So within a specific area over a year, you have a sense in terms of what the house price index is giving you. And we also track it on a monthly basis. So how properties are either increasing or decreasing in value.
Because this is interesting, especially in Johannesburg, and you can weigh in on this if you want to, but many properties in Joburg being re-evaluated. We're seeing the cost of properties going up, which is obviously going to then affect your insurance and the possibility of selling your house at a later stage. You can weigh into that particular minefield if you want to, Hayley, but I want to ask this as well. Is there anything surprising by this? Because obviously you've got numbers, you've got metrics, you have predictions. Were you surprised by what the index showed?
So some level of surprise for us in the sense that it is slightly going up. What we have seen is that the start of the year it was sitting at about 3.6. We're now up at about 3.9 to round it up, which for us is an increase. We were predicting that it would be lower. So it is higher than we expected. It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing for property. There are certainly pockets in the country where we're seeing the increase, and there are pockets where we're seeing the decrease. And then just linking into, Gareth, what you're saying around municipality and kind of the increase in rates, that certainly has an impact on everybody. And I think it's very important that everybody is well aware in terms of what the municipality does in terms of their valuation of your property, because that does affect what you're paying on your rates bill.
Yeah, so it also could affect, I suppose, what you could potentially sell your house for later, especially if you bought it at a much lower price. It might actually be out of market. I've actually seen a couple of people in my area, their property valuations have gone up, and there's no chance they can sell their property for that price at all. Can we talk provinces quickly? Help me understand, so where is the inflation going up and where is it going down?
Okay, so when we look at the provinces, it's really quite interesting. So the two provinces that remained pretty neutral, Free State and KZN, have kept along the same lines in terms of where they're at. And just giving you a view in terms of what that is, they're sitting at about 5.8%, KZN 3.86%. So they've kind of kept on those numbers. Then what we're looking at is in terms of properties that provinces that have increased, which is really interesting in itself. So Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, Western Cape. Those provinces have all seen an increase over the last couple of months, going up quite substantially. If we look at where Limpopo is sitting currently, they're sitting at 7.3%, which is really almost double what our national number is at 3.9. So it's really interesting to see the growth in Limpopo. There's a couple of factors around that. Mpumalanga is also sitting quite high, 6.36% growth. And your Western Cape, we're sitting at, let me just find it quick. I think it was also,
We can circle back around to the Western Cape while you're busy looking for the number as well, because it's a lot of numbers, and that's fine. If you do happen to find it while we're talking, that's great, Hayley. But
6.6%.
What was the number?
6.6%.
There we go, 6.6%. I knew it was there somewhere. Can we just, for a layman like myself, though, is this good news or bad news in a buyer's or a seller's market? Let's just paint a couple of scenarios right now. Is this good news for sellers, bad news for buyers, or which way do we swing this?
So this all depends obviously in the province. So when we're looking at these prices, we are seeing obviously a big uptick at the moment in areas like your Western Cape, which means for a buyer, you're going to be paying a lot more for a property that in reality is smaller than the size of a property that you will pay for in Gauteng. So in Gauteng, for instance, we've actually seen a decrease, which is also not great in terms of the growth for the province. And what that means is in Gauteng, it is a perfect buyer's market because any property on the market, you are going to realize you're going to get it for a price that is well lower than what it is out on the market for. So that is kind of what it is saying to you in terms of location, the different provinces. So Limpopo, for instance, and Mpumalanga, the same will apply as your Western Cape. What you're finding is you're going to be paying more for properties as a buyer, as opposed to in Gauteng, buyers, you're going to be getting deals. So it's really a buyer's market in Gauteng at the moment. So something just to note there. The other province where there's also a buyer market at the moment is Eastern Cape and Northern Cape. Also markets, provinces where we've seen decreases. So quite interesting in terms of all three of those provinces are buyer markets. And the others, you're going to struggle to get a property at a value that you're wanting to pay, right? It's going to be more expensive.
So as you say, it depends on the province. So the provinces where the inflation is down, it's good news for the buyers. Where it's up, it's good news for the sellers, essentially. You see, even I can figure that out. Hayley, thank you very much indeed. Glad we've got experts to join us, like Hayley Ivins-Downes from Lightstone Property, Head of Digital. I'm sure if you just head over to their website, Lightstone Properties, you can go and get that report, or I'm sure you can at least get the information if you are one of those who are currently looking to either sell your house or buy a house. As we heard from Hayley, it depends very much on where you are in the country. All right.